Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel, or of course welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are new, then hello, lovely to meet you. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, make sure you stick around and subscribe. If you're not new and you've been here for a while, then why not make sure the notification bell is switched on just so you're notified of every single time that I upload. Now for today's video, I have a super exciting one because I am going to be trying out the Beauty Bay Make Face Multi-Use Complexion Palette. It's been out for a little while, but it's still like relatively new, and obviously I've not been filming for a while, so I thought I'd catch up on all the videos I need to do. And yeah, we're going to be testing out all the products in this palette. So if you'd like to see that and see what I thought of it, then please keep watching. This is such a different launch for Beauty Bay, so I'm super excited to try it. I got the light medium variation of the Make Face Multi-Use Complexion Palette. This is what it looks like. This retails for £18, and this is what the palette looks like. So you get 12 products in here, and all of these are for different things. There's correctors in here, concealers, bronzers, contours, blushes, highlight, and there's also a matte powder in here as well. So we've got like a lot to delve into. So firstly, we're going to start off with concealing. I do already have my foundation on. I just use the NARS Longwear Radiant, and firstly I just want to talk about these. So there are two like coloured correctors in here. There's a yellow one that corrects and covers dullness, and there's a like pinky corally one that neutralizes under eyes and brightens. To be honest, I'm more of like a green color corrector gal, just because I do have a lot of redness, so I don't think these shades are going to work for me. Also, they look like they're going to be too dark for me as well, so I'm just going to head straight into the concealer. I'm going to be using this shade here, which is C1 in the palette, and this just says conceal, camouflage and corrects. I kind of wish the back of this palette had the back of the box packaging, just because it's just helpful to have that information on the actual palette itself. I've never tried one of these like pore shaped brushes, so I thought now would be the great opportunity to. So I'm just going to pick this up on the brush. I don't know if there's an easier way to do this. Obviously these are like solid concealers. It's probably a bit more hygienic to put it on a brush, apply and then blend it out with something else, but I'm the only person that's going to use this, so I'm not really bothered. But although I might actually need a sponge, I've changed my mind. I'm actually just going to dot this where I'm going to apply it, and then I'm going to use my sponge to blend it out. What I am noticing straight away is how dewy it is, and that gives me sort of like the oil based consistency type of vibe, and I just don't know if I'm going to like that on my face, but I could be speaking too soon, because if this blends out beautifully and gives beautiful coverage, then yeah, I will be talking too soon. Okay, I'm just going to grab my sponge and blend this out. Okay, so this is it all blended out. As you can see, it has, you know, covered the areas really well where I've applied it. I will say the finish of it is not my favourite. As I said, you can see straight away just how like glossy and dewy that looks on the skin, and if you like that, then you are going to love this consistency. But for someone who is, I just realised my mic is not plugged in, I do apologise. As I was saying, for someone who has oily skin, it is a little bit of a put off, just because, yeah, it is that more wet, really creamy sort of formula. Don't get me wrong, for a solid concealer in a palette, it works really nicely. It does the job. It conceals the areas I've applied it, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. So I can't fault it for that reason. I just think the consistency of it is just probably not my favourite, and that's most likely what all of these shades are going to do. I'm just going to take a little bit of C2, which is the slightly darker concealer. I'm just going to fluff that on this brush, and I'm just going to apply it over any like acne or imperfections, just because the other shade is obviously a very bright shade for me. You can see just how dewy it is, like wow. Reminds me of like the Made by Mitchell curve cases, in the sense of like how shiny it looks on the skin. So now we're going to head over to this side of the palette. Wow, you can see how like creamy that's going to be. This is a sculpting shade and these two are to add warmth. I'm not going to lie, C2, is that C2? No, sorry, C3 actually looks like a nice bronzer shade for me, but I don't think it says it's a bronzer. No, it says it's a conceal shade, but yeah, that actually looks a bit more of a better bronzer shade for me. I am going to take this one, however, which is called Tik. Again, I'm just going to take it directly from the palette because it's only me that's using it. Okay, this shade is actually much nicer than I thought it was going to be. It's low-key actually a bit perfect. Again, it's definitely giving the glossy creamy vibes, but it really helps it blend it out beautifully. This is actually so nice, like blends out instantly and gives a very nice warmth to the skin. Definitely will work on you if you've got a fair skin. I mean, look at that, beautiful. I'm also conscious of how dewy and wet this is making my skin look. I must say, if you do have oily skin, I'm not sure these formulas are going to be the one for you because I just can't see this lasting a long time. However, the creaminess of them helps them blend so easy. So if you have like a shorter makeup day, then this would be perfect. And if you needed something to have a bit of everything in it, this would be good. But for long makeup days, I cannot see this lasting for hours on end. Next for blush, I'm going to take Mochi. There's also this shade here which is called Peony and it has got a little bit of a shimmer to it, but I'm going to go for the non-shimmery version. Dabbing it on the brush and blending it onto the skin. Okay, so these, what I am also noticing about these is that they are nice and buildable. So if they don't look like much at first, just add a second layer and the colour, as you can see, will be a little bit more vibrant. And then lastly, I'm going to take the shade Halo, which is the highlighter in the palette, and I'm just going to apply a little bit to my cheekbones. I mean, I am super glowy as it is, but I'm going to use that because it is the only highlighter in here. I think the shade selection is nice for light to medium skin tones, but obviously for like the powder, it is like a translucent shade and there's only one shade for highlighter. I've just grabbed the bum of a sponge and applying it. I'm just pinching the sponge and making sure I'm only applying it directly where I want to put it. But I mean, it has given a nice glow to the skin. I just feel so overwhelmingly like shiny, do you know what I mean, because of the consistency of all of these products all together. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I've not seen anyone sort of review on this or video, so I literally went into this review like completely blind, like not knowing what to expect. I also realised I completely forgot to use the sculpting shade, which is called Cold Brew. I don't know if that's going to work now, but I'm just going to take a little bit and just tap it into my cheekbone, so hopefully you can see the contour a little bit. Create a little bit of a shadow there. Okay, as creamy and as pigmented and as beautiful as these shades are on my face, I'm so ready to powder. So I'm going to be taking the P1 powder and I'm just going to take my regular powder brush, and as you can see is a proper stark white shade. What I am looking forward to seeing is how smooth my skin's gonna look, because my experience with these types of creams is that it does leave the skin looking so smooth despite of how like shiny they look. Like look at this transformation, like this is it before and this is it with the powder. Like it's insane. I absolutely love mattifying my face. It is so satisfying. Okay, so I have got a little bit of dryness on the skin. It is worth noting though that I am on acne medication at the moment, so that is drying out my skin. Also, I've just had my brows topped up, so any sort of dryness around the brows is because of that. I have got an oily combination skin type, so typically I am normal everywhere else, but I'm just oily in my T-zone. But at the moment, I'm just a little bit dry. I've just taken a little bit on my Trigwell puff just to blend out these eyes a little bit. It's not really covered my under eyes a whole lot. And if you couldn't tell that my face was dry before, I'm hoping this will confirm how dry my skin is. It's just like clung a little bit to like around here and around my nose as well. Honestly, in the areas that don't have dryness, like especially here for example, you can just see how smooth my skin looks, and for that it is impressive. But if you do have dry skin, oh my god, I hate my oily eyelids. If you do have dry skin, I would be a bit wary of that, because it has definitely clung to the areas where my skin has been problematic from the medication and my eyebrows. I'm just going to go do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be right back with my final thoughts on this Beauty Bay multi-use complexion palette. Okay, so I've just finished off my makeup. If you're wondering what I've used on my face, I've used the P. Louise Cheeky Fit bronzer, I've used the Revolution Neo Pink blush, the Natasha Denona skincare infused glow beautifier, whatever that means. It's basically a highlighter. I've popped on some of the Burgundy mascara by Maybelline, and then my lips are a little bit of a combo. I've got the ELF Baddest Beige lip liner, Revolution lipstick in the shade Queen, and then Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Baby Brute. So let's finally sit down and talk about this palette. So firstly, I think this is a really good concept, especially for travel, or if you're an MUA, if you're needing something to have like a lot of cream products in it at once, this is a great travel friendly palette. And obviously there's a powder in there as well. But I think for me, as creamy as the shades are and as easy as they blend out, I just don't know if I like that overly dewy wet look on the skin. I'm a matte gal, okay, I have oily skin as I said, and I just prefer products to not have such a shiny finish, because it just puts me off of using them, because I just feel like they're not going to last long on my skin at all. My face is completely set though. There's no like tackiness, there's no like shininess anywhere, obviously apart from my high points. But as I said, I've only just applied my makeup, and I just don't know how this would hold out for a long makeup day. So for me, I think this is something I would use to just do a quick face. It's not something I would use day to day, or something I would use on a long makeup day, just to be sure, just because of like how wet they look. Do you know what I mean? Is it just me? I don't know. And also the concealer, I don't think it did the best job covering my under eyes. Like I feel like it still looks a little bit too dark. I know I've got a very red mark there, but I just feel like my other concealers do a little bit of a better job at covering it than what that does. It worked absolutely fine for my face, but I just think for such a delicate area like the eyes, I just need something with a little bit more fuller coverage. But again, the rest of the face was absolutely fine. Powder did cling to my dryness though. That's the only thing I would say, is just be a little bit careful if you do have dry skin. Probably not going to reach for this for long makeup days, but again, as something that you can use for so many steps of your makeup routine, I think this is a great innovative product. I know there's been tons of products like this on the market, but back in the day, you know, all of them cream products were so oily and no coverage, whereas these have pigment, blendability, there's really nice colours to them. I love the shades they've put in here. So yeah, it's a bit of a like I'm in an R-in sort of review. Overall, I do find this more positive than negative, and I look forward to trying it again and like mixing it with different base products as well. Okay, so that was my review on the new Beauty Bay Make Face Multi-Use Complexion Palette. I don't know why I have to keep looking at it every time I say that. It is a long name. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. Comment down below, let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to know. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.